Hey, what's up you guys? It's Bloody Jacob here to bring you my weekly review of Penny Dreadful. This week's episode is the Season 2 finale entitled, And They Were Enemies. And, first off, right off the bat, I just want to say we have to wait until next year to see another episode of this show. I just don't know if I can do it, man. I may do another video just talking about the season in general, and I may do a video down the line comparing Season 1 to Season 2. But in general right now, I'll just say that Season 2 is a great season for this show. I love Season 1 as well, but I think overall I might have enjoyed Season 2 just a little bit more. And like I said, I'll do a video maybe talking a little bit more about that sometime. But for now, this finale, man, was satisfying in every way you could have wanted it to be at this point, especially with the how the Evelyn Poole storyline wrapped up and what all went down at that little castle they had. And this finale did what any good finale should do. It gives us closure on some of the big storylines coming out of the season, and then it leaves us with big questions at the same time for next season. And I just think they just did that to perfection with this. I will admit, though, that what happened with Evelyn Poole and how she was killed, I sort of seen coming, but that's just because of the previews we got last week. But nonetheless, it was still very satisfying to see actually happen, like the full scene and stuff like that. And they had an interesting setup for this finale. They did something similar to this last year with their finale, with the whole Sir Malcolm choosing to, save Vanessa and kill Mina, as she was a vampire. They did something similar this year, not really with a story, but they basically put the intense action part of the episode in the beginning, and then the next half of it was pretty much the characters dealing with what just happened, and then sort of making a path towards next season, which I'm fine with. Just usually, you're kind of used to that formula of the big things going down right towards the end. But yeah, I'm fine with getting this immediate intensity and gratification with this show, so I'm perfectly fine with it. Again, Penny Dreadful's not like any other show on TV, so I should expect it, right? And this show, I'll just get more of my general praise in general. I said in general. Ugh. I'll randomly start praising the show more towards the end of the video, but for now, let's actually talk about the episode, huh? That's kind of the point of this video, I think, right? But this episode just keeps going from where we left off last week. Of course, all our lead characters in Evelyn's castle and stuff like that, and of course Victor and Sir Malcolm still battling the nightmares. They're being forced to see the visions. For Sir Malcolm seeing his Peter, his son. He's seeing Mina, and he's also seeing his former wife that had just committed suicide because of Evelyn. And then we also seen, the aftermath of Ethan and Sembene. Now I'm confused how to pronounce his name. I know in my reviews I was pronouncing it as Sembene, whatever. But apparently it's Sembene or Sembene. I don't know. You guys know who I mean, though. The guy who was unfortunately killed by Ethan in his wolf form at the end of last week's episode. And we know for sure that he is definitely dead at this point. But then again, there's still room for some supernatural means in Season 3. But we'll talk about that in a few minutes. A little bit later in the review, anyway. And, of course, for a part of the episode, Ethan in his wolf form is still, locked in that space. And the main concentration we got in the first half was Ethan sort of having a battle for her soul again with Evelyn, but also we see that doll that Evelyn had been working on, she actually uses as a means for Lucifer to speak through it. And that was very creepy. It's really cool that Eva Green actually did the voice for, her doll in that, even though it's actually Lucifer speaking, is speaking as that Vanessa doll. So it just gave like an extra creepy, like odd look to it all. And I won't pretend to know exactly what they're saying to each other, but I mean, like when they're chanting at the end, sort of battling back and forth and stuff. But it was basically a battle for Vanessa's soul, like I said, and Evelyn and Lucifer basically tempt Vanessa to, get what she wants out of life, get her exact dream. And we see a vision of what Vanessa's utopia or what Vanessa's paradise would be at this point. And we see like a flash into like this alternate reality of Vanessa. She has a son and a daughter, and then she's also married, and that her husband is Ethan, of course, which is awesome. I approve of that. And just brought smiles to my face. It's brought a smile to my face. It was really weird, but at the same time, it was just really, I don't know, just as a fan, it's really just nice to see any happy moment a character could have, even if it was this like alternate, just temporary vision of what may be. I sort of like to see that. You can't, if you're a fan of the show, you can't like get some pleasure out of seeing that. But yeah, basically Lucifer and Evelyn offer Vanessa, that utopia, that paradise for herself, and when she's at her deathbed, she'll be, basically Vanessa wants to be, loved and, held on to by people and stuff like that. But she was promised that, but at the expense of, after her death, she would go alongside to Lucifer, and, her soul would be his, and she'd be the bride, of course, which is what Lucifer's wanted since season 1, before the series started. And once again, Vanessa shows her true strength, both supernatural and otherwise, by her showing her will is actually strong enough to continue to resist, even if taking Lucifer's side may seem like the easier, more pleasurable way out. She still refuses, which I thought the whole scene was a very powerful moment for the character. And of course, Vanessa is the main character on the show, so of course, she got the big concentration with everything going down there. And that's when her and Lucifer start training against each other, and Vanessa actually wins this, which is pretty awesome. And of course, Evelyn is surprised, and she's trying to use a special knife. She was probably going to try to come up from behind Vanessa and, stab her as a last resort, But that's when Hecate actually plays a hand in this, one of Evelyn's daughters. And, she actually opens the door to let, Ethan, of course, our Wolfman, who we know is actually, Ethan Lawrence Talbot at this point, which is awesome. And, Hecate lets him out, and so, Ethan as a werewolf, goes right up to Evelyn and just slashes her throat and pretty much takes her head off. We see her body laying there, and her head's pretty much, like, held on by just a, little piece or something. And, so that was very satisfying. Like I said, that was one of the things I kind of figured was going to happen, because in the previews we kind of seen, Ethan's wolf, walking up to someone and sort of like swinging at him. It was meant to have us think it was either Vanessa or Evelyn, but I think I said in my predictions video that it was probably going to be Evelyn, and it was. So somewhat predictable, but at the same time, it was nice to see it happen anyway. It was a really awesome shot. And Ethan and Vanessa, even in Ethan's wolf form, has like a stare with Vanessa. And, for the first time, I'm sure Vanessa knew some of what was going on with Ethan, obviously, throughout the season. She's been trying to get him to open up more. But, for the first time, Vanessa sees full out exactly what he is and what he's been dealing with. And Ethan in his wolf form is able to hold himself back from harming Vanessa, which is pretty beautiful. And then he runs off. And then, also I forgot to mention, like I said, Vanessa's able to resist Lucifer and Evelyn, and then she crushes the doll's face, which is really awesome. Okay, but anyway, and then we see that Sir Malcolm is able to free himself of the nightmares once Evelyn is killed, as is Dr. Frankenstein. Lyle actually survives too. I wasn't so sure he was going to make it out of this finale. But it's kind of intriguing that he did. I wonder, if he's going to show up again in season 3. That'd be interesting. But he turned into a somewhat pretty likable character, I'd say. Some people are pretty, enthralled by him on the forum, not on the forums, but on the Facebook page and stuff like that. So yeah, Lyle's a unique character to have around on the show. Kind of a contrast to, like the rest of the character's darkness on the show, and he's showing more depth and layers to his character too. So he pulls out that little pistol that he had gotten in the last episode, and he's able to shoot and kill one of the witches, which is pretty cool. And then Sir Malcolm comes out with Dr. Frankenstein, and he's able to put down another couple, and that was pretty awesome. Of course, seeing a sharpshooter side of him again, and him sort of having that strength like he has in the past is pretty cool. And also Hecate, she made it out of this finale, which I didn't expect either. I knew she was probably going to do something to betray Evelyn, or do something to, help the others, even if it was for her own reasons. And yeah, she, like we said, like I said, she let werewolf Ethan out because she knew her mother was going to get killed by it, and then she burns the place to the ground after everyone leaves. So I wonder when sorry about that. I wonder when her character is going to pop up again. I'm guessing in season 3, but we'll kind of see what's going on with that. She easily could. But we'll see more of what her main goal is now that her mother is gone. So it should be interesting. So yeah, 2 characters I didn't really expect to get out of this finale got out of it. Lyle and Hecate. So there you go. Let's see what else. Also, hence why it's in my custom thumbnail there. Not really custom thumbnail, but I just took the picture from the Penny Dreadful Facebook page, as I usually do. Minus my little face, of course. But, of course, when Vanessa crushed that face off of the doll, scorpions came pouring out of it, and one of them kind of absorbed into her hand. People are getting kind of confused by the meaning of that. Obviously, she's a little scorpion, so of course, I'd be one with her and stuff like that. But, probably, I don't know, it's kind of hard to say the meaning of it, but I just think, she's there now. She's at that point, she's powerful and stuff like that. That's just what I'm going to take out of it. Feel free to comment below and, let me know what you think about that. But I don't think it's anything bad, or I just think it's symbolizing her strength in that scene, again, emphasizing that. So yeah, that was all really good. Then back in the city and stuff, we see Victor, and he sees that Lily isn't back at his apartment, and of course she left some lilies there. Were those lilies? Let me see. And those could have been lilies, I don't really know. I don't know my flowers overly well, sorry. But, and Victor knows exactly where she went. Of course, she's with Dorian. They're kind of finding this weird common ground of power and immortality and things like that, as we've seen in last week's episode. Victor goes to confront them, and he actually ends up trying to shoot both of them, which is cool, but yeah, I was just shaking my head because I knew he was going to try to do that. And, of course, Dorian is immortal, and then of course, Lily is immortal. Not really immortal, just much more immune to damage, I feel like. I feel like she can still be killed somehow. But, of course, Dorian can be killed as well, but, if you know the Legend of Dorian Gray, it can happen. But I'm sure we'll see that at some point in the series. And Lily decides to, even though they seem fascinated by the idea of murdering Victor right then and there, Lily decides to let Victor live because, they may still have use for him. And then we see Victor relying on his drugs, sort of pull him back down again. And yeah. So Lily and Dorian, I'm glad that I'm still not that. I don't really care about Dorian as a character too much. To be honest, I think I've said that in my other reviews. But I'm still glad they're giving the character more importance at this point, instead of just being a sex symbol on the show. At least he's part of a somewhat important part of the story at this point, and obviously they're more antagonistic than they have been in the past. So I think they'll probably be dead within a couple seasons, hopefully, I think. I don't know. I don't think they're going to be the big bads of any season, though, but they may be secondary antagonists from here on out, I think. Which is fine, it's a better position than the Dorian character's been in. for the whole series, pretty much. And also, Lily's involvement in the season was very good as well. Of course, developing as just a creation who has no idea what she is or what she's going to do into this, powerful person, even if it's in the wrong way. And so that should be interesting to see what they do going forward. And also, like I said earlier, Sir Malcolm, of course, like I was talking about him earlier, and he's going to bury Sembene back in Africa. I wonder if we're actually going to see Sir Malcolm in Africa in Season 3. That would be cool. That would be a really different environment, and it could bring up a lot for the character, too. So I feel like it would be a good idea to show Sir Malcolm in Sir Africa. I feel like it would be a good idea to show Sir Malcolm in Africa in Season 3. I think that could bring out a lot for the character. And who knows, maybe Sembene isn't permanently dead. He could pull some witch doctor, shaman stuff like some people have been theorizing. So either way, it's an interesting course for Sir Malcolm. And also what happened with Ethan and Vanessa at the end of the episode. Ethan goes to Vanessa's room. Vanessa's trying to embrace him because she's ready to try and, be something together. But of course, Ethan is just broken at this point, of all the carnage he's caused and just what he is and stuff like that. He doesn't feel like he can do that at this point. So, him and Vanessa are sort of on opposite ends, now compared to, the earlier part of the season. Now, Vanessa's ready and, at this point of strength, and Ethan's at this point of just completely losing himself and just giving up, pretty much. And so, Ethan leaves Vanessa a letter, refusing to come to her bed at night, and he actually ends up turning himself into the inspector to the detective. And it turns out that the inspector had actually gotten expedition, extraction, whatever, notice from America, of course, for his father, who's trying to bring him back there. And Ethan's basically accepted that he's going to go back there, and he's going to supposedly face execution there. But it's going to be really interesting next season because we'll meet his father, Sir John Talbot, who is a big character in the Wolfman movies and stuff. But we now know that Ethan is Lawrence Talbot, so we're going to see a new version of that story going on, which I think should be really good. Looks like Ethan had his hair cut pretty short when he was in that cell at the end there. So we're probably going to see a pretty interesting dynamic going forward with him and the detective and whoever is cast to play his father next season, so that should be good. And also we see that Mr. John Clare, I almost forgot about him, the creature. He was being held by the Putney family for the wax museum, and he was made an offer by the owner, of course, to join them while still being held there, but yet making a share of the profits and having the benefit of having a candle and books. But of course, I knew he wasn't going to go for that. He ends up breaking down the door and killing Mr. Putney and his wife, which was pretty awesome to see. And then the blind daughter steps in that betrayed him. And, part of you wanted him to just snap her neck too, after what she pulled last week. But at the same time, he knew that she'd eventually, walk into her parents' body, so that may be better punishment for her, We get a great, very, very well-written conversation between Mr. Clare, of course, the creature, and Vanessa. Them sort of you guys remember they had other conversations throughout the season. It's just so well written and really actually poetic. And they both kind of share this similarity with each other as characters. And the creature tells Vanessa, he's leaving, and they both talk about what they're going through a little bit while not really talking about it. You know what I mean? And Vanessa actually calls him a friend, and then tells him he's the most human man she's ever known, which I thought was such a great line, and perhaps can maybe eventually, just keep the creature moving forward, And the creature is kind of a wild card at this point, in my opinion, because we've seen what Victor's other creations have become, especially Lily, and we see what she's becoming anyway. And, Proteus is dead at this point, not counting the visions that he was forced to see. But the creature at this point, he's kind of treading the line between being what she is and being something possibly more human and redeeming. So it's going to be interesting to see where that goes, in the future. But apparently for now he's heading off to the Arctic or something along those lines, of where he can't see humankind or anything like that. And Vanessa is sort of left alone in that house there. She turns off all the lights, and Ethan's off by himself. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see what they do with Season 3. Of course, it was renewed a while ago. I made a video on it, which is awesome. I hope the series goes for as long as it needs for the full story to be told. It deserves it. It's an incredible show. And so that's really all to say about this episode. A lot of characters. A couple of our very important characters left the country. So I'm wondering how they're all going to be tied back together in Season 3, or if we're going to get a few different stories going on in very different areas or something. I don't know. But it's going to make for a very good season again. I think I have full confidence in the show. In this show, I mean, show. But to do something great, and I think they'll continue to do so. As I've said in my other reviews for the show this season, it's probably my absolute favorite TV series, my favorite live-action series going around right now. It just knocks it out of the park. It knocked it out of the park in Season 1, and it just got even better with Season 2. And it's honestly my favorite, and in my opinion, the best show on TV currently at this point. Yes, I even put it over The Walking Dead. I think it's a better quality than TWD at this point. And that's just me personally. Though I still love The Walking Dead, but in my opinion, The Walking Dead's kind of gone down a little bit since Season 3 or so. But I still love the show. But Penny Dreadful is just above it at this point in quality and just general episode-to-episode stuff. But writing, of course, too. And this isn't a Walking Dead comparison, though. But so a great season finale tonight. Very satisfying. Like I said, a very good example of what a finale should be, giving us all its closure, but yet giving us big questions for the next season, too. And so I can't believe we have to wait until next year in May just to see another episode of this amazing series. But I can't wait for Season 3. Can't wait to see what they're going to do with the rest of the show. And I'll catch you guys next time. I'm actually going to be seeing Avengers Age of Ultron tomorrow, finally. So you'll get a very, very late review from me on that by tomorrow night or Tuesday at least. So you can look forward to that, and I hope you guys are enjoying the tributes I've been making. They've been fun for the most part. And I do enjoy making them. So hope you guys enjoy this video. If there's anything I forgot to mention or something you want to hear me talk about more, feel free to leave a comment below. We'd love to discuss it with you guys. And I'll catch you guys next time. And peace.